everyone, and welcome to today's video where I'll be sharing my tips and tricks that help me improve my handwriting and improve how my notes look. Today's video has definitely been inspired by you guys, so thank you so much to everyone that left comments and for inspiring me to make this video. Let's jump right into my first tip, which is to get yourself a matte screen protector. Without a screen protector, you're just writing on a smooth glass surface. So of course it doesn't feel as comfortable to write on and it's not as easy to control the pencil. Whereas with a regular piece of paper, it's not completely smooth and it has a bit of friction, and that's what helps to control your pen. Matte screen protectors are essentially mimicking that texture of paper, and that's what makes writing on your iPad feel like you're writing in a regular notebook. Before I got myself a matte screen protector, I found that I was gripping the Apple Pencil quite hard, and then after a while my hand would start to ache. I also had to write quite slowly to make my handwriting look neat, which didn't feel natural and certainly wasn't convenient. So if you're having these types of issues, I'd highly recommend looking into getting a matte screen protector. I've been using the ones from Paperlike for a little while now and I really like them. I think they do a fantastic job of mimicking the feel of high quality paper. A couple of other accessories that can help are pen tips and pen grips. I got these metal pen tips from Amazon a few months ago and they help the Apple Pencil just feel like a regular ball pen. I have noticed that with the metal pen tips I have a little bit more extra precision when writing, but I've also noticed that these leave little marks on your screen, so if you're thinking about getting these, make sure you also get a screen protector. The Apple Pencil is quite slim and it's made of a smooth material, so I know that grip can sometimes be a bit of an issue. To help with this, you can get a sleeve that goes over your whole pencil like I have, or you can get these smaller grips that you just slide onto the pencil. So now that we've gone through the different accessories, I'm going to take a closer look at the various options and settings in GoodNotes that can help you improve your handwriting. You need to start by selecting the right pen type in GoodNotes, and you've got three options to choose from: the fountain pen, the ball pen, and the brush pen. The fountain pen and the brush pen are both pressure sensitive, and that just means that when you write, the thickness of the lines are going to vary with how much pressure you apply. And with the fountain pen, you also have the option to adjust the sharpness of the lines. Here you can see that the ends just get a bit sharper. I personally use and recommend the ball pen because it's not pressure sensitive, and I think that makes it a little bit easier to make all of the letters look uniform, and it's just one less thing to focus on when trying to write on your iPad. Of course, play around with the different pen types and the settings until you find what's most comfortable for you. Next, you need to find the right pen thickness. When you have a slightly thicker pen, I feel like it makes your handwriting look a bit nicer, as any wonky lines aren't as noticeable. In this example, I've used 0.15 and 0.45, and to me the 0.45 just looks a bit neater. If you find that you have to write really slowly to make your handwriting look neat, I'd suggest increasing the pen thickness, as this is what helped me keep my handwriting neat whilst writing at my usual speed. We don't really want to select a pen size that's too thick, so I'd suggest staying somewhere between 0.4 and 0.6. My next tip is to zoom into the page. You can see here that when I don't zoom in, my handwriting doesn't look great, and that's because it's harder for me to control where I'm trying to write. Whereas when I do zoom in, I have a bit more control and it's easier for me to then keep the letters a similar size. In GoodNotes, you can zoom in directly to the page, or you can use the zoom window. You can adjust the area of the zoom window by dragging either of these lines up and down, and you can use the bottom right corner to adjust how much you want to zoom in by. You can also adjust the position of the dock. I quite like having my entire palm on the screen, so when I do use this feature, I drag it to about here, as this makes writing feel comfortable for me. A really great feature with the zoom window is that it will automatically move across the page as you write. As you get closer to the end of the box, you'll notice this blue shaded area appear, and when I write in this area, the window will automatically shift across. If your zoom window isn't doing this, just go to document editing and make sure auto advance is enabled. A couple of other things to note with this feature is you can set up a margin for your zoom window, and I can move this using these icons here. You can also use these icons to move the zoom window to the left or the right, and you can use this icon to move the zoom window down. feel like this is very obvious to say, but your handwriting is going to improve as you practice writing on your iPad. To help you practice, I'd recommend using templates that are lined or have some kind of grid paper so that you can practice writing on a straight line and keep your letters a consistent size. You can also have your notes looking nice and neat whilst you're practicing improving your handwriting by using the text tool. The text tool works by automatically transforming your handwriting into text, and it does a pretty good job even when your handwriting is messy. Of course, you can use this feature with your keyboard, but it's a great way to practice improving your handwriting on your iPad whilst keeping your notes looking lovely and neat. As with most text tools, you can edit the font choice, the size, colour, etc. And one of the great features with the text tool in GoodNotes is you can adjust the space between the lines to align with your notepaper template, which I think makes life so much easier as you don't need a new text box for every single line in your page. In GoodNotes, you can choose from a range of different fonts, but if you're struggling to find a font that matches your aesthetic, you may want to download a font, and you can do this really easily using a free app called iFont. Within this app, you've got access to some really popular font platforms like FontSpace, DaFont, and Google Fonts, and you can use these to search for fonts, or you can use open files to source a font that you've already downloaded to your iPad from somewhere else. Once you've found a font that you like, you'll then need to import it into the app, and once you've done that, you should see the font listed under imported fonts. Then just tap Install, tap Allow, and close, and then follow the instructions shown in the installer pop-up. As you can see, it's a pretty simple process. Once that's all done, you can return to GoodNotes, and then you should see the font appear as one of your font choices. If for any reason it doesn't automatically appear, just refresh the app, and if that fails, try restarting your iPad. You can also take things a step further by creating your own font. If you want me to do an in-depth video on that, let me know. So far we've only spoken about handwriting, and whilst this page does look nice and neat, I think it looks a bit boring. So one of my biggest tips for making your notes look a bit nicer is adding colour. There's loads of ways that you can add colour to the page in a fun and functional way. You can change the colour of your text. You can use the highlighter tool to create bullet lists and organise your tasks into different categories. And I quite like using the highlighter tool to time box my day. If you want to add a bit more colour to the page, you can use the pen tool to create shapes. Just draw the shape and it will snap the lines into a neat filled shape for you. If you don't want the border, just tap undo. And if this feature isn't working for you, just go to the pen icon, tap draw and hold under settings, and make sure draw and hold has been enabled. And if you'd like the shape to auto-fill, make sure fill colour has been enabled. I personally like using pastel colours because they remind me of traditional highlighters. You can also search for colour palettes to help you find colours that will work well together. I found this fun colour palette from Pinterest, and I'm just going to use QuickNotes to find the hex codes. So swipe up from the bottom right corner to open QuickNotes, tap the rainbow icon, tap the colour picker tool, and then drag this over to the colour you want to find, and copy the hex code. You can then easily paste the hex code and even save the colour to your presets if it's one that you want to use in the future. Once you've got all of the hex codes that you need, just tap done and this will close QuickNotes. Another really fun way of adding some visual interest to your page is by using digital stickers. I think they're a great way of adding a bit of fun and personality to the page. I normally use Pinterest to find cute little reminders and quotes and other inspo pics, and you can edit these images using the crop tool within GoodNotes. I quite like using the free hand crop tool. Alternatively, if you're using an iPad, you can use the photo cutout feature to add fun little images to your page. I know this takes a bit of extra time and effort, but I think it really does a lot to make the page just look a bit nicer and fun. So that's all of my tips and tricks for keeping my handwriting as neat as possible and making my plans look a bit nicer. I hope these tips help you guys, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.